We covered the Scrum Master, we covered the product owner, we covered the release train engineer. Each of these roles protects something. The Scrum Master protects the team, the RTE protects the system. But here's the real question. Who protects the strategy? In SAFe, that responsibility belongs to one role, the product manager.
I'm Mscichowski, and this is the Uncover Leadership Podcast. For over 15 years, I've been leading teams, and my mission is simple: to share my experience so you can grow on your own leadership journey. Each episode, I'll bring you some practical tips, real-world insights, and lessons from my path to help guide yours. So listen in. Let's uncover leadership together.
Let's set the record straight. The product manager in SAFe, it's not just a senior product owner, not a backlog administrator or a roadmap PowerPoint creator, or just a stakeholder messenger. And if your product manager spends most of their time grooming stories, something's off. The product manager optimizes value at scale. That's the job. So I said that the product manager is not just a more expensive role for the product owner. So let's make it clear. The product owner works at the team level, just like Scrum Master is. And the product manager works at the art level. You have 5 to 12 teams. The product owner focuses on a sprint scope, story clarity, acceptance criteria, the next 2 weeks, maybe up to 4 or 6 if he's looking ahead for 2 extra sprints. The product manager focuses on the program backlog, about the PA objectives, the roadmap decisions, to make sure that everything is aligned, and he needs to look 12 to 18 months ahead on a horizon what's coming up. Now, here's the defining difference. The product owner asks, did we build it right? The product manager asks, are we building the right thing? That is strategy. If you looked at the SAFe picture for the art or system art, you're gonna see that the product manager sits between the business, strategy, and the delivery reality. The person in that role must understand where the business wants to go and translated the strategy into epics and features. Prioritize based on value what's going to be created, not on the volume itself. There's need to be balance between the innovation and maintenance. And the person in that position need to understand that saying no more often actually means yes for the teams. And not just saying no, but we can do this, but we must remove something else. Trade-offs create clarity. And remember this line: if everything is priority, nothing is. A weak product manager creates busy trains. A strong product manager creates focused trains. If you're going to look at it, this is where many arts struggle. The business wants more features, more speed, more visible progress, but without that maintenance piece, technical debt, and other items that are required, like enablers to prepare something in advance before we reach out for the feature that bring value, the train actually slows down, or worse, it breaks. The product manager must protect that long-term sustainability while still delivering short-term value. That takes leadership courage. And it's not just the discussions with the business or fighting for trade-offs. There is a PA planning in place for the arts. And during that PA plannings, the product manager need to present the vision. He need to explain the why to the teams to drive them forward. And then he need to align the priorities, clarify the scope, and define success criteria. But here is something critical. The product manager brings direction. The teams build the plan. It's the same for RTE and for the product manager. They cannot push. They wait for the teams to move forward. Because if the product manager gonna dictate the plan, that's just waterfall behavior. If the product manager disappears, not gonna be present in the art, that's gonna create chaos. And the leadership is very important in that role because it created that balance. And now there's gonna be a lot of hard places or hard situations for the product managers when they're gonna fail. And they're gonna fail if they're gonna treat the roadmap as commitment, because there's nothing worse than just keeping the plan from a year and a half ago when so many other things change around us. They also sometimes gonna allow mid-PI changes without any trade-offs. How you can squeeze in 12-hour work in 8-hour shift. They can overload the backlog, lose the clarity or the understanding of what's being created, and then they optimize the optics instead of the value. They're gonna show that they create a lot of items, a lot of components, but they're not necessarily gonna be the one that are bringing more value for the business. And thinking about all of this, we need to remember that the roadmap that is being created, it's not a contract. It's just a hypothesis of what can happen. And during all of the time, the market's going to shift. There can be regulation that's going to change. Competitors going to do their moves, and the customer is going to evolve. They might want different things. So the strategy needs to adapt. And like I mentioned, like the optics, we finished everything we planned a year and a half ago. Great, but it's no longer needed. And for all of that, to make sure that the product manager not gonna go that wrong path, the person in that position need to be able to communicate clearly. Needs to be able to speak both languages, the business and the IT, and need to be able to anchor the decisions to the vision. Of course, make sure that the trade-offs are visible and understand by the team that we're gonna do something else, but you don't have to do the other thing. And then remember to protect the value, not the ego, right? We not necessarily need to finish everything if the projection shifts, if it's no longer needed. And that person needs to empower product owners because they help the teams, and then this basic unit of the whole art can progress more, can move faster. It's a more leadership behavior than the title. And in SAFE, the product manager's behaviors defines focus across the entire train. So think about it. Strategy without ownership, it's just noise. Ownership without clarity, it's chaos. And in SAFE, the product manager protects focus. And focus is what turns effort into value. In the next episode, we'll talk about the system architects and why technical leadership is just as critical at scale as other roles. Until then, just keep moving forward, keep learning, and I hope that you liked this episode and other episodes that I posted. Please follow me on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to the podcast, or if you're listening on YouTube, please subscribe to the channel. If you have any comments, any propositions, tips, put it in the comments section. Let me know what you want to learn about, what you want to hear about, and hope you hear you next week. Thank you.